All right, let's get into it. Run number 4 is done. Felt better. Didn't sleep much last night, but did get in a breakfast before I left because I realized the last run at 4 a.m. I was struggling. I think it's because I was fatigued, tired, and hungry, honestly. So runs are coming along. I'll snack throughout the day. Probably have a big lunch and a big dinner and then kind of repeat as we go. Sun's out. It's definitely warmer than it looks and warmer than the weather says. I'm kind of burning up right now. Let's talk a little bit about who this run was for, the people this run was for. Called it For the Ones Who Protect Us. And that's to raise awareness of the suicide rates among veterans, first responders, and includes firemen, police officers, and EMTs. You know, if you look at the CDC average of suicides in 2020, this data was just released, the US average actually came down a little bit, which is great. That's amazing. It means prevention's working, intervention's working, maybe people are finding hope in other places. But when you start looking at individual groups, which we're going to do on the next couple of runs, starting with this one, rates among veterans, firemen, police officers, and EMTs are going up every year. And it's a shame. These people fight for our livelihoods, our freedoms, the way of life that we live. They protect us locally, whether our house is on fire, whether we need help, someone's trying to hurt us or someone in our family or friends. And yet when they're done with the job, or from the things they're exposed to on the job, eats away at them so much that they think their only outlet and alternative is ending their own lives. And it's sad. It's tragic. Ask your friends if you know anyone who is a first responder. I'm willing to bet they've been impacted by this in the last 2 years and seen people go, friends of theirs go, out of nowhere. No warning signs, at least ones that they can recognize. So what I'm going to do for every run now dedicated to a group, I'm going to post some data, some research, some articles for you guys to see and absorb and take in. So my next story, press and hold if you want to read it, take screenshots if you want, but it's important information. And the thing I tried to do the most is it's all relatively recent information, nothing older than 2020 to 2021. The most alarming stat for veteran suicide, and also all first responders, are more first responders and vets are dying by suicide than they are actually line of duty. I think 4 times the rate of veterans killed themselves than died in combat in 2019. And police officers and firemen are dying at a higher rate from things unrelated to their job, starting with suicide. So I'm raising awareness, I'm doing my best. We'll talk more about this as we go. Thanks for the support.